What has been the driving inspiration behind your journey?
Wow. Um, the driving inspiration behind my journey, I would say first and foremost, it has been my relationship with God. I have this funny story about how growing up, I was in a household full of guys. Of course, my mom, but I had my brothers who were siblings that were joined at the hip, and my best friend, my counterpart, was God. My mother made sure we had a relationship with God early on, and that would be the person that I confided in, talked to, talked about anything, and that continued to grow into my adulthood. So I would definitely say the driving force of inspiration for me has been God as well as my children. My two daughters mean the world to me, and they inspired me from birth to be the person that I am, to drive forward and operate with the utmost integrity, to lead by example, to be a global citizen in the most impactful way. And all of that came from me just being accountable to being a mother and being a child of God, and wanting to make them proud, make my children as well as God proud. So I would definitely say that.
Who or what has most profoundly shaped your path and vision?
So I would say that my mother, my father, and my godmother are probably the three people who have shaped um, my path profoundly. My mother is an educator and an intellectual property teacher. And growing up, she was an advocate for self talk. You know, she made me study etymology in high school. I was like, why am I doing this? But it shaped the way that I looked at words, the way I communicated, how I honored myself and other people with words, and showed up in the world. She made sure that I was well educated, that I operated with a sense of integrity and love, and that meant everything to me. My dad was the person who made sure that we learned how to be present, and I think that's a skill that we just need to encompass today. Fun was a major value. We had to have fun. We had to be present with one another. Community was a value, and those things have truly impacted my development and growth, whether it's professionally and personally. It's exponentially grown me in ways that I can never repay them for. And then my godmother, she was there since birth. She is my mother's first cousin, and she literally has been the person that made sure that everything whimsical and amazing and grand that my parents would say was possible, that I can find tangible ways to make it happen. So she was a person to make sure I had stability, that I was being logical along the path, that had structure. And I think those three components of knowing how to dream big, speak life, and have integrity, and drive forward with a sense of purpose, while making sure you have the balance of fun and creativity and presence while you're going through the journey, and then having the practical steps of execution, made me a well-rounded person. And I will add, folks under the zodiac sign of Virgo, I'm a Virgo, I will say definitely have been a big part of my driving force, because I think growing up, being an adult, and even in workspaces, having a mind that's so expansive, being able to do so much, with very little. At times you feel isolated, or you want to kind of dim down your light a bit. And I think being able to have examples like Mother Teresa, who is someone who's a human advocate that matters to me, someone like Beyonce and Michael Jackson, who are creatives who have worked at the highest level of their crafts, it lets you know that you never have to dim your light. You can go and be as grand as you want to be in the world, while caring for others, and being kind to people in the journey. And that has definitely allowed me to see myself as I am, and not as the world says I should be.
What does celebrating Women's History Month mean to you personally and professionally?
All right, let's be real. Imagine our world without women. Like, what are we doing? What are we gonna do? It's gonna be a mess, right? So, I mean, Women's History Month is so pivotal to all of humanity. It's a reminder that the people who breathe life into us. When you think of Earth, Earth is considered Mother Earth. When you think of the women who create life literally and bear life into this world, it's a woman, right? So I think as we continue to break barriers, as we continue to amplify the history that we're making on a day-to-day basis, and going back and honoring those who made history that were unspoken. No one said their names. They did the work without praise. I think it's so very vital that we bring the past forward, and we you consider what's present and amplify the voices of women who are everyday leaders, that are moms, that are advocates, in communities, as well as those doing things on a major scale. So Women's History Month is everything. I think it should be year long. We should figure that out because we're doing stuff every day. We are literally advocates for humanity in so many ways. But to take a month and celebrate us is important. So I'm grateful that we have that.
These are good responses.
Thank you. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, it's good. It's good to have more than enough and not enough. So
yeah.
Can you share a pivotal challenge you faced and the lessons it taught you?
Wow. So a pivotal challenge I can share that I faced in 2016, I founded a amazing organization with my two daughters that started from a place of grief and grew into an internationally respected organization. And in 2024, I hit a time in life where things just seemed very, very dark on the surface. I had to make the executive decision to sun down the organization. There was just a lot of what we would perceive on a traditional scale as loss in my experience. And I think that my rearing and my mentality around understanding that everything that is happening for me, that is happening for a reason, and is here to grow and evolve me and to be nimble and pivoting and whatnot. I think that that helped me to incubate into a space with God to say, what is it that you want from me? And He told me to rest. And in that resting season, there were times where I felt like I was inadequate, that I wasn't doing enough. Mind you, I had ran a successful organization that had been recognized. Still to this day, people are talking about it as if we're active at this moment. That's the amount of impact that we've made on community. But I had to go into that kind of dark space with myself to address some of the internal ways that I was, navigating as a woman, and talking to myself, and clean that up a bit. Remember that I'm a child of God, that I'm on a mission to shed light on His word and His character, and that the tools that I receive, or the resources and that I'm provided in order to do that, they're not mine to keep, they're not mine to hoard, and that I'm to be flexible and nimble with life. And I think coming out of that, I'm here now. I feel purposeful. I feel so beautiful and joyful in my skin. I have a sense of peace that I haven't experienced in my adulthood, that is just out of this world. My boundaries are firm. They're getting firmer. I still need a little bit of work, but I think that being obedient to the process and not judging myself in the journey allowed me to come through 2024 to now, in a way that has completely changed the trajectory of my life. Now I'm the VP of programs for the United Nations Atlanta chapter. Like, that was something I could never imagine would be possible, but I just kept following the flow of my journey without feeling like I had to stop or be something different or do something different in the process. So that definitely shaped me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the last, well, two more questions. What guidance or wisdom would you offer to the next generation of Black women leaders?
What guidance and advice would I offer the next generation of Black women leaders? Rest your mind and your body. If you feel anxious, if you feel overwhelmed, there is space for you to rest. Your superpower is going to be in being easeful and being agile, and showing up in your natural creative force, in a way that allows you to be fully present. And it's challenging to be fully present when you're adapting life from an external lens. So the number one thing I will say is, when you need rest, take rest. I always say this to young people that I mentor, and even peers for that matter. When we talk about going and hustling, I don't believe in hustle culture. I believe in obedience and I believe in flow. But most importantly, I always remind people, on the seventh day, God rested. Who are we to say we cannot rest? Right? So that is such an important factor. The other thing is, figure out what you love. I say this to my daughters all the time because I'm such a high achiever. They're like, we need to have high income, generating jobs and whatnot. And I'm saying, you will generate all the money that you need to sustain your life if you find out what it is that you love. And sometimes we think we have to meet the status quo of what someone else has, the car, the clothes, the clean your slate, figure out what matters to you. You may not need a huge home. You may not like a condo. Figure out what matters to you, what is important to you, what you enjoy. Figure out who you are more so than what the world expects you to be. And I know that's challenging as a young person sometimes because parents are guiding you, but just remember they're guiding you with what they have. But what you have is a knowing of what feels good in your skin. Trust that, honor that, listen to that at all times, and it will never guide you in the wrong way. Like this journey, you're with yourself, you alone, from the day you're born until the day that you return with God. So it's really important to make sure that you're honoring getting to know yourself, honoring what makes you feel good, and making space for fun and creativity. Have a good time along this journey while making an impact on lives that are around you.
And then lastly, state your name, what you do, and then a quote that you live
What I do, everything. Okay. What? Okay. Hi, my name is Qui Wingfield. I'm a serial social entrepreneur. And my quote is recognizing that thoughts are free and I have the power to choose who I co create with is a top tier blessing.